Hey guys, this is Jan for Chess24 and welcome to a little midnight session of Banter Blitz. I hope you guys can hear me and see me well. I played a session earlier today, but I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't happy with the way I played, and I wasn't happy with the picture quality, mainly due to my own stupidity, because I did not press the HD button in live stream. I did press it this time around, so let's hope the picture quality is better. Even though my hair day hasn't improved since the afternoon. And yeah, you know the drill. I'm gonna play Chess24 premium members in 3-minute or 5-minute games, and I will intend to crush you all, even though I've just had a huge dinner and I'm kind of feeling sleepy. This is my game against Casper, which I will abort now and accept a different challenge. Let's see if we got any. Oh yeah, and let me know in the chat if you can see me, hear me, the usual. And here we go. I will ease into it, hopefully playing a weaker opponent on paper, Mr. Gecko82 from Germany. People still awake in Germany. I'm in Spain at the moment, so I've grown accustomed to the Spanish lifestyle of eating dinner late, going to bed late. Might as well do a Banter Blitz at midnight. And of course, it's part of my deep strategy of recruiting new markets. That sentence doesn't even make sense. Gaining new members in the United States of America and all these places where it's not in the middle of the night right now. Here we're playing a Catalan against Gecko82. Gecko82 might have studied my new video series on the Catalan. I recommended going castles and then d takes c4. I can come down to the same thing if he castles here. Could have tried to punish this early d takes c with queen a4 check. That shouldn't make a big difference. Here the main move is queen c2, knight e5 is another option. Let's see how well Gecko knows his main lines. I will try this move, queen c2. Once again, I'm slightly freaking out with the way the camera is placed here in Madrid, because I can see my giant head on the screen. It's just too big. Sounds like video and sound is fine. That's good to hear. And Gecko goes b5, which is not a bad move, but it's not a bad move if you know the right move here. The correct move is b4, which is not an easy move to make. c6 might look more obvious, or well, a6 doesn't work because of a takes b5. After c6, there's a little trick, a, b, c, b, knight g5, winning the game for white. So after b5 you have to go, after a4 you have to go b4. This line Gecko is playing is, I would assume, less good. And let me try to figure out why. I could just take on a6, but I believe the most unpleasant move might be this one, knight e5, attacking the rook on a8. And the only sensible move he has, to my mind, is actually taking on e5, sacrificing some material. The rook can't go anywhere because of the knight forks, and you don't want to fork up the game so early. But there he goes. Rook a7, knight c6, and it's game over because I'm either gonna eat the rook or the queen, both of which should be decisive. I'm being asked if I'm gonna play the World Blitz and Rapid. No, I won't. I'll probably be doing commentary in German, but I won't play myself. I'm an old man. It's a bit of a pity, but nowadays I prefer talking about chess to actually playing chess, as you can see in these Banter Blitz games as well. The playing part I don't really have down. Anyway, I won this game against Gecko82, whom I tricked in the opening. Yeah, what I was talking about is in this position after b5, a4, well, a6 loses. Another move that loses is c6, ab, cb, knight g5. This is a trap you should keep in mind. And there's no way black can save the rook on a8 because knight d5 runs into queen takes h7 checkmate. So the only move after a4 is the move b4. It's not very natural, but that's a playable line. Anyway, the warm-up worked out, and let's try to find a new opponent. Mr. Tuli. Another German. A lot of Germans awake at past midnight. Let's see what Tuli is up to, or if he's up at all. Because I wouldn't be surprised if he challenged me earlier and now he fell asleep. Goes 1b3, move that is gaining some momentum, and I will follow the recipe of Mr. Peter Svidler against Wei Yi He played this system with knight c6, knight f6 and bishop d6, and frankly got a pretty bad position. So maybe I shouldn't, but this is the line that nowadays is the trendy one against the setup with b3. Here, yeah, normally black goes a6, trying to provoke this bishop to take on c6. I will try to do without it for some moves. Rook e8, bishop f8 is also part of the plan. I'll move back into the picture in a second. There's something in my pocket that's bothering me, and it's my tremendous amount of money. The wallet was just weighing too heavily in there. So after castles, can I go d5? I kind of want to go d5. a6 would be the normal move, bishop c6, dc6. But I can't really see anything wrong with that. I'm trying to save a tempo on a6. Because yeah, I'm not sure what this bishop is up to on b5 anyway. Maybe I could have played... too late. Maybe I could have played knight e7, trying to harass this bishop over there. But now he goes e4, which is a decent move. Now I'm out of ideas, so I will force him to take on c6. What's going on? Shako. Watched the old show, but I'm doing a new show as we speak. A couple hours later, as I said, wasn't very happy with the old show. I played badly and the picture quality was bad, which was just too much bad. I was being my usual hilarious self, so of course it's worth watching. Here against Tuli. What are we doing against Tuli? He's playing well so far. Not very high rated, 1727, but hasn't done anything wrong. And it's a normal position. I have the two bishops, but I have these double pawns on the c-file, so it's more or less balanced, and I need to come up with some kind of plan, which is not my forte. My forte is more making moves and then taking pawns if they're on prise. But here it's going to be tough to open the position. I'll go g6, which is a little double-edged, because if he ever manages to go f4 and free this bishop from b2, he could have a pretty good position. But I gotta do something. I think I'll play ambitiously, which I should never do. h5, hoping for h4, and if his knight moves, then knight to h5. But he could play knight f3, sort of ruining that deep plan of mine, and then I'm not 100% sure how to follow up. One thing that's good is that his bishop is not doing all that much on b2 at the moment. That could change if this diagonal opens, but for now he'd much rather teleport it to g5. Could even consider a move like bishop a3 just to exchange it. But yeah, the move I'm concerned about here is knight to f3, stopping my very deep plan of pushing this pawn forward. He didn't stop that, so the plan shall be implemented. Can't make up my mind if I want to go d4 next move. I don't think I do. It's sort of determining the structure too early. Even though it would push his queen back. Not that scared of his queen on e3, so I'll continue with my plan, going knight h5, trying to put this knight on f4 and his knight on h1. Does look a little funny, let's say. Could have put it on e2, which is more natural to my mind. Here I should be in good shape, but I'm also, in spite of my earlier losses, more than 1,000 points higher rated than Tuli, so I think I'm expected to be in good shape. Not physically, of course, on the chessboard. What's going on in the chat? Shako didn't close his Banter Blitz window, so here I am again. Don't get used to it. I'm not planning to do 2 shows every day. Today is a free day from the FIDE World Cup, which I'm going to be back to commenting tomorrow in the lovely language of Spanish, which I don't really speak, but I'm having fun anyway. So yeah, we're going to be rooting for Peter Svidler tomorrow against Sergei Karjakin in the World Cup final. Our boy Peter Svidler, big champion of Banter Blitz, he's going to be back doing some. Once the World Cup is over, he has a chance to win it for the 2nd time. No one's ever won the World Cup or the Knockout World Championship twice so far, and Peter Svidler has a shot, but Sergei Karjakin is a tough opponent, has proved extremely resilient. So it's not going to be an easy match. Here I'm trying to make it easy by threatening mate in 1. It's not that easy to parry actually, because I'm also threatening things on h3. So yeah, the last couple moves after good opening haven't gone all that well for Tuli. Here I could cash in with knight takes h3, queen e3, knight f2, which is the easiest way to win. Not sure if I should get fancy and go bishop takes h3, which looks good as well, yeah, why not? And yeah, white does have a lot of props. I also had d4 winning, so a bunch of winning moves here, but gotta make one of them. Where's the mate? Bishop g2, knight a3, but there's no mate yet. I think I'll just take back and see what he plans to do about his situation. And of course I'm only doing that because I think there's nothing that can be done. No, I don't see a move for white, which is good news, because I see plenty of moves for myself. My plan is basically bishop takes g2, e4, and knight h3 checkmate in one order or the other, and it's going to be hard to stop. What else is new? Yeah, nothing much has happened in my life since the afternoon. Did anything happen? I had a siesta. I'm in Spain, so you gotta go with the local customs. Sleeping is a custom that I can get used to quite effortlessly. Then I had dinner. Didn't watch any TV. No, that's about it. How do we win this game? G2, DE. Maybe this is the way. It's getting a bit embarrassing. Let's try to calculate for once. In my earlier session I didn't manage to calculate a single line, which was sad, and I have a feeling I haven't grown much smarter since. Could go ed4, which probably wins, but then he goes queen e8 and bishop takes d4 with too much counterplay. I don't see it. Should be something easy. Nope, can't spot it, so I'll go bishop g2, which maintains a winning position, but it's not the stylish finish I was hoping for after de5. I don't see any fancy way to get the job done. I'll play c5, I'm not sure if that's a very good move, but it did occur to me intending to go d4. I can always cash in with knight a3 check, but I don't really want to unless I have to. And yeah, gotta give credit to Tuli. He's defended very well from a pretty desperate situation. I believe I'm still winning, but he did hang in there. Where's the mate? It's probably mate in 2 or something. I just can't see it. So I will continue fooling around, allow him to take on e8, and hopefully one day deliver the coup de grace. Coup de what? I shouldn't try to use fancy expressions, they don't suit me. Now I've mate in 1, and that's a thing I am pretty good at. Good game by Tuli. Yeah, this knight on h1 was a bit of a sad piece, and I believe the key moment was, well, I'm not saying it was lost here after h5. I think he should have gone knight f3 with a pretty good position, while after queen e3, h4, and then knight h1 he found himself a bit on the defensive end of things. Let's find a new game. Let's make my life even tougher and play against a titled chess player. Oh, what happened now? The board is somewhere up there. Here we got it. Mr. Stoof, a FIDE master. That means I'm gonna have to go for my deep opening repertoire, play 1 d4. Everyone's challenging me to 3-minute games. Frankly, for banter I prefer 5 minutes because it gives me a bit more time to explain my deep thoughts. Then again, 3 minutes should help my expert flagging skills, so that's also not too bad. And it looks like Stoof is not around. I'll count till 5 and then abort. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Here we go. Sorry, Stoof. Let's find a new game. Keep going through my list and play Mr. L. L? Is that even a legal username? Looks like. Yeah, the knight on h1 was not the happiest piece. L goes e4. Let's go g6. Much discussed topic during the World Cup. What move do you play if your opponent is a world-class player? It goes e4. You have to play for a win. People have tried many different things. c5, c6, g6. Normally not successfully, because it's pretty hard to play for a win with black against a world-class player who only needs a draw. I don't think there's a correct solution, but g6 is a move you see quite often from super strong players who only wanna win. Doesn't make sense. Who are looking to unbalance the game. Let's say in a league game between a 2700 and a 2400, you quite often see black going 1 g6. He's tried to checkmate me with knight g5 and bishop c4, but that's a little too direct. Even for this advanced hour, I will normally spot such stuff. And now I have good position because e5 hits the knight on g5, so he doesn't get in his second shot at giving me Scholar's mate with queen f3, because now I would take the knight, and if the knight retreats, there's also unpleasantness ensuing with d takes e4 followed by f5. So white dug himself a bit of a hole here already, and this is not making things any easier. Sorry, L. I am very good at this capturing pieces thing. Not so good at calculating anymore, but Oh, it's being explained. L from Death Note, character from a Japanese manga series. Not a big manga guy, I have to admit. Do you know anything? No, not much. I'm a piece up, that much I know. But yeah, I'm not a big student of Japanese culture. I should spend some time one day, but so much stuff out there. Not quite sure why I played d4. I wanted to play bishop h3 here, but it's a bit pointless after knight g3, frankly. So I might have relaxed a little bit after I was that piece up after 6 moves, which is normally a dangerous thing, but I still have my extra piece. So how dangerous can it be? Oops, I shouldn't Google stuff while I'm playing. That probably makes the game disappear, not too surprisingly. I'm still thinking about manga, but no, I don't know anything. Let's check this picture. He's gonna try to play d3, sneakily attack my queen, while I got my eyes set on making another knight go to h1. And it might happen. h4 is coming, and this knight would not have any other square but h1. So yeah, that's a theme which you don't get in that often, to force a knight to h1. He could avoid it by making some clumsy move like rook e1 or bishop takes f3. He doesn't, and we're back to our favorite topic. An enemy knight on h1 that does not have anywhere to go. Here things are not improved for him due to the fact that I do have an extra piece. So I'm reasonably confident about my chances here. But yeah, let's try to force knight h1 in every game. Not gonna be easy. I am familiar with Magna Carlsen and the Magna Carta as well. Thanks Shako for pointing that out. Manga Carlsen, not Magna Carlsen. I can't even read anymore, or like find the context to what I was talking about a minute ago. Life is tough. And L's position is very tough as well. I haven't really spent a lot of time developing yet. Normally, if you haven't touched either of your knights by move 16, something has gone wrong. And I didn't manage to keep this knight on h1 incarcerated, which makes me a little sad. I want to find a way to get it back to h1, but I don't know how. Yeah, it's gonna be tough to force it back. I'm completely winning, but that's not really the question. The question is how to get this knight back here. Can't do that. Sad. I should have gone g5 instead of queen g5, picking up the rook. But I am obsessed with the ideas from last game. There is this, I really want his knight to go to h1. Maybe I could provoke it with queen g3. Let's not go too crazy. Let's get this knight out. There is this thing that people are often surprised that very similar types of positions which they haven't played in years feature in consecutive games. And I think it's, that one does make a mental note, and then maybe subconsciously one looks for the same type of position in the next game. So it's quite common that in the same tournament or Banter Blitz session you get very similar positions which you haven't played earlier. It's my random pseudo-scientific theory of the day. But yeah, the knight left h1. It's not gonna go back. I could go for a move like queen h6, threatening g5, picking up this rook. When to keep the rook he should go knight h1 actually. And I think I'll do that just to see if I can make it go back there, but I doubt it somehow. I also do have a lot of time on the clock, 3 minutes 29 against 18 seconds, 15 seconds. So things are looking pretty good, but yeah, the heroic knight bites the dust, made a comeback from the h1 square. Yeah, bishop g4, rook g4 would have been a little more resilient. There would only have been a rook up instead of a rook and a piece now. And L from a manga series I'm not familiar with does resign. Thanks L for the game. Let's continue going through our list, and since Shako is a very loyal viewer apparently who hasn't switched off the show all day, we should try to crush him. I think I lost to Shako in an earlier session, right? Yeah, lost the game to Shako, not gonna happen again. Let's see what Shako is up to. So far so good, my usual crap. I go a lot of knight f3, c4 nowadays, and now either g3 or knight c3. Typically we get this position after knight c3, d5, d4. Looks like he's been studying my Catalan series and wanted to use his knowledge or wanted to do something else, and he's complaining that I did not go for g3. Yeah, I will ignore the whining and send a smiley. This is some sort of Nimzo hybrid where I haven't played d4 yet. I'm not sure. Bishop c3 immediately looks a little strange because I was gonna go a3 next move, so it's slightly unforced to do it now. But how bad can it be? It's a normal position. White is a bit better because of the two bishops, but nothing too bad has happened. Yeah, Shako is bitterly complaining that I avoided the Catalan. That's life. You gotta be unpredictable, especially with white in this day and age, because all lines are equal at the end of the day. You have to surprise your opponents, try to get them out of their comfort zone, and that's what I've been trying to do. Here I think most good players would play the move g4. It's not really in my style, but what the heck. Let's try our luck anyway. Normally I would play something much duller with bishop e2, short castles, and enjoy my tiny edge, but you only live once or twice, or I don't know. Not sure what Shako is up to. I will just push my pawns on the king side and see what happens. Quite like my position with this battery along the long diagonal. f6, can I go h6? Kind of want to go h6. fg5. Move like knight d4. I could also go knight d4 immediately, which looks sort of unpleasant for him. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Then knight c5. Not that clear, but let's be creative, or pretend to be creative. Something I did wrong in my earlier session, and I feel the same tendency creeping in already. I was just playing moves on instinct without ever calculating a single line, which might not cut it against shako, but I do sort of like my position still. Let's see what he does. I would expect the move knight to c5 when I'm going to have a choice between knight takes c6 and something else. After knight e5 I was planning to go here, and I shall follow through on that promise. Of course, yeah. The knight still has places to go, but I do have a bunch of tempting options. If he goes, let's say, knight f7, I can decide between h6, g6, knight takes c6, all of which do look very appealing. Yeah, maybe he's going to try c5 to initiate some counterplay when I'm going to have to think. It's the one thing I don't like about chess, it's this thinking part. So the most obvious move is fe5, cd, queen d4, fg5, with maybe a tiny edge, but nothing that exciting. What else could I do? Could go knight e6, bishop e6, fe, fg. Now also nothing too thrilling. Problem with this fe5 is I end up with a pawn on e5 that blocks all my great assets on this long diagonal. I'm not sure I have anything better. Now I'm thinking about knight b5, knight f3 check, king f2. Gotta be careful there. Stuff with d4. That might work. Let's try it. Not the way I usually play, as regular viewers might know. He goes fg5, probably after king f3 he wants to go d4. Interesting. Don't think I really have a choice. Gotta take the knight. Let's see what happens. Here we go. A lot of options all of a sudden. None of them any good. Shako has done very well to complicate the game. Yeah, he's wrestled the initiative away from me, and I'm not at all happy about my position, frankly. Bishop b7 check. I have to make some very unpleasant choice between sacrificing material while keeping an open king, or not sacrificing material but locking out all my pieces with e4 and keeping an open king. I will go the greedy route, but I have a feeling Shako is going to crush me here. This really has turned south pretty quickly. Oh, this does look horrible. Yeah, all my proud pieces, this beautiful battery I had on the long diagonal has led to a crippled bishop on b2, and I missed this move. Not really. Ugh. I can resign basically. He's really giving it to me. Queen b8 check, good game. Shako, bad game. Jan, really, really bad game. Does that mean I lost two in a row to Shako? Really have to start crushing him again. This can't continue. But yeah, good game. What can I say? Just was enjoying my creativity too much, and it never ends well for me if I open my king. I think I had a good position till somewhere around here, but after c5 I went overboard with knight b5. Should have played fe, cd, queen d4, fg, and white is a bit better, something like bishop g2, long castles, but a long game ahead. Instead I did go nuts. Not gonna happen again. Let's play someone else. I think I lost two in a row against Shako. It does bother me a little bit. Well, what can you do? He did play well. Arno Garabet from Turkey. Time to change moves. Piano 9057 is wondering what I'm going to recommend in the series after 4 knight c3 instead of the Catalan. Yeah, the way I'm playing, I shouldn't recommend anything, but I'm planning to recommend the Vienna, the move d takes c4, which, yeah, is a line I've always had a bit of a soft spot for, and I've been doing a lot of analyzing. I think it holds and leads to a very interesting play, so I think I'm going to go with that one. And here we get yeah, Nimzo in the main line. I don't play this move with 4 e3 much. I've played it a bit, but can't call myself too big of a specialist here. Black has many options. CD, ED, B6, arguably the most popular one in this position, but I'm sure other moves have been tried. Knight c6, of course, also possible. Not sure why that we don't see this more often. I guess bishop g5 could be one reason. Quite often Black wants to maintain flexibility with putting this knight on d7 instead of knight c6. And yeah, b6, this looks a little suspect. Can I go d5? I really want to go d5 already. Oh, my phone is ringing. Good thing I don't get forfeited for a phone call during a Banter Blitz live session. Or maybe I do. But I'm gonna have to switch that off and call back after the show while I'm trying to decide what to do here. d5. Bishop c3. dc, but no, it doesn't look that tempting. So no d5 yet. Let's calm down and play something normal. Maybe I lost all the little chess ability I had. I just can't think of normal moves within like 3 minutes of thinking time, which is a bit sad. I want to punish b6, but probably I shouldn't be going into full-blown punishment mode. He hasn't done anything really wrong, and I should just have played a move like rook c1, rook e1. But I felt like going for this. However, I can't really find a way to proceed after bishop e7. I was thinking about bishop f6, followed by d5, but I'm not sure I can make it work. We shall see. I really can't answer the phone. I'm so sorry. Okay, so d5 was the plan. Takes, bishop takes d5, bishop b7, and then yeah, I'm not sure there's anything there, but I shall try it. After d5 he also has knight a5, which might be a move. But knight a5 I'm less sure about. Knight f6 and bishop e2. This knight is a little out of it. Wow, my rating reaching all-time lows. He does go knight a5. Yeah, could take on e2 or take here, also fine. Once again, I haven't really accomplished all that much. Queen takes d5, bishop b7. I don't like that, so I'll throw in b4 to force this knight away. But I believe, yeah, I went a bit overboard with this knight e4 operation, trying to punish his play, which was completely normal, so there was no reason to go into full-blown punishment mode. Yeah, here I got nothing. Can I avoid being worse at least? Don't want to lose all my games today, believe it or not. Queen c4 looks artificial. Queen e4, he goes bishop f5 with tempo, which I also don't like. I'll go here. It does look artificial, but at least it stops bishop e6 for now. And yeah, it should maintain equality. Another very unimpressive game. I am a little... What excuse did I come up with today? I don't know. I just don't feel very good at chess at the moment. I think that's really what it comes down to. Knight d4. Aggressive. But Nothing wrong with it either, unfortunately. I should take and go here. Still dreaming of posing some problems somehow. Rook b4, bishop f3 is no good for him, so he should probably develop his bishop, maybe move like bishop g4. Rook d7 also is a legal move, unfortunately. Yeah, still not much there, I guess. Nope. What to do? Where to go? Let's go here. But yeah, it's just an equal position. I even have to be a little careful not to blunder my queenside pawns, but I shall do so. Okay, time to focus. I have a feeling I've been mailing it in. I keep losing to shako. This cannot continue. Rook d8. Yeah, I'm not better. What can I say? A3, a bit of a random move too, not sure the position was screaming for me to go a3. Maybe I should have played bishop g4 instead. Let's do it now. Or bishop b5, maybe here. Now then I gotta be careful with rook takes and queen g5 ideas. But yeah, now he has this. I'm just not better. Not much I can do about it. However, like an idiot, I will continue playing for a win, even though the position and the clock situation don't really warrant it at all. And I'll probably end up worse. Here are the first signs of potential discomfort. My poor a3 pawn is coming under fire. I haven't been very nice to this colleague on f1. Didn't really manage to include him into the game. But what to do? There was no time. I guess it's still equal, but at least for the moment I've picked up a pawn and Arno has to worry about how to get it back. Well, it doesn't strike me as that worried, though. And I don't have a lot of time, so it's once again time to speed up. b1 very deep. Three again, three, not overly exciting. So I shall accept his draw offer. Good game, Arno Garabet Jan. Another bad game, Jan. How much rating can I bleed in one day of Banter Blitz? I must win a game. Let's continue through the list. Let's play against Mr. Manrique from Spain. People are wondering what happened with shako. Yeah, shako misplayed the opening and then I went nuts and he crushed me very nicely, has to be said. And yeah, I'm still steaming, as you can see from the last game. And I'm not sure if it's steaming, unfortunately. I just have a feeling something happened. I lost my mojo. So, how did Austin Powers get his mojo back? He had to travel back in time, right? I'm not sure I can do that. interesting opening by Manrique, provoking me to do all this, and I shall be provoked. Wants to checkmate me, so probably I should not determine my king's position just yet. I'm assuming he's going to go long castles, and I will probably go knight h5 or rook g1, similar thing. I'll still go knight h5. Fighting against f4, and I'm trying to get a hold of the dark squares on the king side with g6, c6, queen f6. In that order are the moves I want to play. I think I'll start with this one. Yeah, if nothing else works, back to my one core strength, grabbing pawns when they're under attack. Still, white does have decent compensation here, so I am not that thrilled about things. But pawn is a pawn. How do I play this? Takes. Rook f1 would be the normal way to play, when I'll probably go f6. I really don't want to castle into his attack, and I want to keep the option of queenside castling. f6, yeah, it's a little unfair to the knight on h5, but there are bigger things to worry about in this position. Maybe he's going to start with rook f1, when I would still play f6, I think. Queen c3, what's that about? Not sure I get that move. I will just castle. Could go f6, or I could give it check and then play knight f4. I think that might be a better way to handle this, avoiding this f6. We have opposite color bishops, but my pawn is still worth something. Even though with opposite color bishops, it's normally more about the initiative than about pawns. But I don't feel my king is weaker than his king, and I do have some pretty straightforward plans of pushing my pawns on the, what's it called, king side. First I want to avoid any queen b3 unpleasantness here. Now let's go forward. g5 is a little anti-positional, but if I can get in g4, g3, that's going to be a bigger factor than slightly weakening these squares. Could go g4 immediately, or I could cover this pawn first. Don't really see any reason not to protect it, so that's what I shall do. And now we start going forward. Should probably go d4 just to get his queen and his bishop involved in the action on the king side. If he doesn't, yeah, I'll go rook h2, and this pawn will be major inconvenience pretty quickly. Here we go. Rook g1. I feel like it's worth taking half a timeout to stop him from going d4, just so that he can't really activate his pieces. And now next I want to go, I don't know, probably bishop e3. Well, he sacrificed the exchange, which is legal, but an exchange is an exchange. I'm just going to have to convert it. Probably a good practical decision, in fairness, though. Makes my life a little harder, while the other position looked like it could be more or less played on autopilot. So how to activate my forces here is the question. I want to kick his rook out. I'm a little dissatisfied that this gives him the option of queen b4 in many lines, which I don't really want to allow. Now if rook f3, then he would take in queen b4. Don't like that. So let's go away with this rook so it can't be attacked with tempo. Queen b3, okay. Stellar technique. Let's try to think of some sort of plan at least. That's the mark of bad form. I'm an exchange up and I'm sitting here like I'm being checkmated on the next move. Can't think of a single thing to do. Panic creeping in. Just can't think of a move. Must make move. Not one decent move came to mind, in spite of all the thinking. So I played this very random move, maybe threatening b5. Not sure I want to go b5. Probably I do actually. Queen a4, okay. No, I don't want to go b5, a6. He has a check on a5, but it's not the end of the world. I shall go away. Probably here. No, I'm really playing very shakily. Still, let's hope for the best. Let's hope that my counterplay with rook c2 and queen f2 will still get the job done here. What happened to the old days when I was young, full of energy, beating people? The times, they are changing. Suffering, but now, yeah, I think he can't avoid. Oh yeah, and I blundered my queen, of course. This is just sad. I don't even know what to say for myself. It's just sad. Nope, can't take. He's also playing like a genius all of a sudden, offering a draw. Of course I can't accept a draw. I'm steaming way too much. Great game, Jan. Congratulations on blundering your queen and then somehow winning undeservedly. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna have to do a lot of soul searching to do. But for now, let's continue playing. Queen b6. Who does that? I could blame it on the advanced hour, but I didn't play any better earlier today. So I won't. And let's play against Mr. Soporiferous from Belgium. What's going on in the chat? When you play with a German player, Jan play with a player more or less. You're good scoring and play with us, Hugh. I'm not following. What are you trying to say, PHC123? Time to change openings a little bit. I will play this what they call Philly door, which I never considered to be a really correct opening, but it is a decent surprise weapon. This e takes d4, knight f6, bishop e7, castles, and then look for like d5 breakthroughs. Not necessarily a great line, but I think a playable line. Bishop c4 looks like a natural move. I don't really know the theory here. A bit tempted to go knight takes e4, which is in my style. Knight takes e4, d5, simplifying. Which, yeah, it's not really. Doesn't really lead to an exciting game, though. He would go bishop d3 with an equal position. So I shall push my luck, go rook e8, planning to go bishop f8, but weakening the f7 spot. Here we go. Rook e1 is not the most typical move in this position. Normally some setup with h3, f4 would be a bit more natural. Go knight b7 here. You always have to be careful not to lose some brilliancy with bishop f7, knight e6. That tactic does not work here. Knight f5 does work when I would have to go knight c5, part ways with this bishop on e7, which is sad, but what to do? Yeah, I'm still punch drunk from these last 3 games, which were all terrible. Well, against Manrique, I played normal for a while and then blundered my queen. And yeah, congratulated myself for forcing the exchange of queens when blundering it. So yeah, I have been sharper. I don't blunder much normally, believe it or not. No one's gonna believe me. Anyway, this is sort of a normal setup here. I'm attacking the e4 pawn, trying to generate some counterplay. So peripherous could go bishop g5, h6, bishop h4, daring me to play g5. And I would probably be dared and go after the pawn. Else, yeah, he can, of course, should probably defend his pawn with a move like f3 or queen to f3. Well, yeah, we have a normal position. The game is just starting. Not quite sure what I want to do after queen f3. Well, f3 is also possible, of course. I'll go a5 just to stabilize my knight on c5, not allow any b4s or a5s from him. And yeah, now g6, bishop g7 is another typical regroupment when we get some almost King's Indian-like structure, even though the white pawn is on c2. It does look a bit like that, and we'll see how it goes. Oh, I figured out one brilliant idea so that I don't have to move my head so strangely all the time. I can just move the screen so I can see it if I look a little more straight into it. Very deep idea. What's going on here? Yeah, I think I'm slightly worse, so peripherous has done absolutely nothing wrong. Well, arguably I have, especially rushing bishop g7. I'm not sure about. Bishop could have, maybe should have stayed on f8 to keep an eye on the d6 pawn for a moment. And yeah, knight b3 here, for example, is asking some questions. Knight c2. Can't I grab a pawn? If in doubt, always grab the pawn. He goes c3. I want to play d5. I have a feeling it's wrong. I still want to do it. It's like chocolate. Nah, I do have a feeling it's wrong. I don't know, like I feel like something's off. I can't tell good moves from bad. Which, yeah, normally the mark of a good player is not that you calculate more than the weaker player, but that your instincts are better and you sort of on autopilot know this is a good move to play, this is a bad move to play. But once you start doubting yourself, like me now, then yeah, no move seems obvious anymore and you can freak out about anything. Let's catch up with the chat. Knight g3 is being said in Spanish that normally I only catch 2400 plus guys from Spain. I don't know if that's true. I catch very randomly. I don't study your nationality all that much. I study which position you're in the list. The earlier you challenge, the better of a chance you get of playing and probably crushing me the way I am playing. So yeah, I'm not sure this theory holds any water. I'm being asked what books I got Svidler hooked onto. I got him hooked to the Ross Thomas crime fiction collection, which, yeah, are good page turners. But I think he's done by now. H4, so aggressive by so peripherous. Yeah, as usual, I can't think of a move. I feel very vulnerable. Knight f5, so peripherous. I think you can win a brilliancy prize here. If you go knight gf5, I have a feeling you should crush me then. But you must dare. It goes h5, which is fair enough, but less threatening than knight f5. And now the moment has passed because my bishop is back to controlling the square. Now I think I'm in pretty decent shape. The attack on the h file needs a long time to gain any momentum. Shall even pre-move. What's going on? People are asking si entienden si yo sé hablar español y no lo sé hablar, como ya vemos de esta fase. Pero voy a dar comentarios en castellano mañana, entonces tengo mis 3-4 palabritas que sí que sé decir. That was Spanish. A lot of Spanish people around. And I'm gonna win on time against so peripherous. I am in Spain right now. I'm in Madrid. I always like being in Madrid. Food is good. Weather tends to be slightly better than Hamburg. We have a studio here as well. And we tend to be quite productive with our Spanish community manager, whatever we call him, business unit manager. I have no idea. Our boy El Dibis, David Martinez. We're hanging out here in Madrid doing stuff. Yeah, but now my position is winning and so is the clock situation. Still a good game by so peripherous. Il Grande Maestro has noticed I'm not in the best shape right now, which is very true. I'm not sure what's going on. A little burned out, I guess. But he is happy that I like Narcos. I'm not sure. Il Grande Maestro, did you recommend Narcos? I can't remember. Let's play another game. Oops, something's gone wrong. Let's play against Diego Jimenez Vivanco. Is that the name? Where's he from? From Ecuador. Welcome, Diego Jimenez Vivanco. Glad to see we have people in Ecuador following, and there probably it's not in the middle of the night. And yeah, Grande Maestro is taking all the credit for Narcos. It did show up on my Netflix, but yeah, I remember someone was recommending it. It's, yeah, like I said, it's not a great show, but it's very addictive, especially if you like Pablo Escobar stuff. So yeah, I did a bunch of binge watching. I still don't think, yeah, characters aren't that good and so on, but it's so addictive, I couldn't stop watching. So yeah, check out Narcos if you have some time to kill. I think I should abort this game. Diego Jimenez Vivanco seems to not be there, and I'll find someone else. Let's play against D. Histos from Germany. 2300, which, yeah, at the moment is more or less a free point against me. I've been being crushed by a bunch of guys today. It's been a tough day, so I'm gonna fall back to my main weapons, stick to my most boring of repertoires, where I hope I have the best chance of being on autopilot. But being on autopilot is normally a terrible thing. If you feel like mailing it in, that's not a good thing. If he goes c3 here, I think I'll go d6, not d5. He goes h3. Now I can resort to my usual stuff. Here, I think d5 is a good move, sacrificing the pawn. But I feel shaky, so I will go for a more conservative setup with d6 and queen d7, knight d8, knight e6. Probably start with this. Which, yeah, is, I guess white is always slightly better here. His pieces are slightly more active, but it's a very reliable setup for black. I'm planning to go bishop f8, c5. Now that he's gone knight h2, I won't rush with bishop f8 because I can see knight g4 is coming when I might want my bishop on wherever his square is called, e7 I think it's called. Here it's always a tough decision if you want to take on g4 or not. That looks wrong to allow queen takes g4. I'll go here, which looks like a bad move too. No, as people have spotted, I am not in the best of shapes. I don't know, I feel like I need a holiday, believe it or not, to recharge my batteries. Dehistos is playing it very positionally, going for the d5 square, which might give him a tiny edge. It's nothing too serious in this sort of position because I can always challenge this knight and exchange it off. So yeah, white is not really better here, but white is of course doing well, and it's very hard to be worse with white. I'll probably try to get in rook d8 and d5. Now the plan is to play with f5 in these positions, but I'm not sure the piece setup really is asking for that, so I will try to do stuff in the center instead. Queen g4, sort of an empty move. Bit tempted to play this. I'm not sure if it's good. Could lead to weakness on d6, but it does pose some slightly fresh problems. Let's see how Dehistos reacts to it. I guess you should just go rook to d1. He goes queen e2. Very defensive minded. Now let's keep queens on the board. Queen d3. Now if he goes queen d5, then I will go along with exchanging queens, but yeah, does not do me that favor. Goes for the stronger move, rook d1. And yeah, not sure what to do. d5 is kind of in the spirit of the position. And yeah, I'm steaming enough to sacrifice a pawn. Not sure this is any good, probably it's not, but I did feel like doing it. There is some compensation with e4, f5, bishop to e5, maybe rook to e5 in this type of position, but not quite sure if it's enough at all. Let's start with f5, see what happens. f3, okay, gotta open things up a little bit to get counterplay somewhere. Bishop f2, Dehistos playing pretty well so far. Rook e5, can I do that? I guess I can. Not sure it's gonna give me anything exciting, but it does look possible. Bishop g3, the point is I have a check on b6 or c5. Yeah, could play c4, which I would take, and take on d5, which leads to, I guess, rough equality. Plays bishop g3. Now, of course, I'm hoping for queen d4. Even that wouldn't be too clear, but I would pick up the queen. No such luck. Bishop f2. Guess I should take here. the endgame I would be slightly better because it looks like I gain control of the d file. It's still very drawish after a4, unfortunately, because he activates his rook, and I'm not sure how much progress I can make, if any at all. But what to do? Bishop e3, also a decent move, covering the d2 square, and yeah, I have to reconsider my evaluation. I'm not really slightly better, it's just equal, unfortunately. Not sure if this is a good move. I want to be able to go b4 after a4, which might be playing for a loss, but I still wanted to do it. Okay, he's preparing to go rook d1, which I wouldn't mind, because then my king becomes very active. Position should still be equal, but king position does matter even in bishop endgames. So not too unhappy to see this. Bishop b6, all right, to go a4. King d2. Not sure where to put my king. Could go to c4, then it would go king c2 and b3. I think I'll go here. To try to gain more space. I do like space. Doing my best to put some pressure on Dehistos in this endgame, which, yeah, I'm not sure. I guess it's still a draw, but it does look a little unpleasant for him because he does not have all that much space. Let's put the bishop here, see what happens. I could go for g4 and f3, but I think it's one of these situations where it might pay off not to hurry all that much. And let's see if I can get away with this, intending to go king e2 and have a little dinner on the king side. These situations, it is always helpful to have a look around which is the right h-pawn, which is the wrong a-pawn. So I should keep this guy alive, but I think I can grab this guy and keep this guy alive as well, just in case I need it. And yeah, this is a pretty good position for black, because he will get another queen, and Dehistos resigns. Slow grinding victory. People are asking about pawn sacrifice. The Fischer movie, I haven't seen it yet. I'm not a huge Fischer guy, but of course I'm gonna go watch it so I can join the conversation. And I'll keep playing against Mr. Pere 2015 from Spain. Good to see so many Spanish faces around. Yeah, looks like we're onto something in Spain. It's been a lot of fun to do the live broadcast from the Copa del Mundo. A lot of action in the Spanish chat. So exciting to see that. And Pere 2015 goes for, yeah, a solid Slav. I will play some sort of hybrid system, which is becoming more and more popular. I don't really believe in it, because the bishop on g2 is sort of, yeah, not ideally placed for this position. This is the main line. D takes c4, and here black faces a choice between many playable moves. e6 is probably one of them as well. Not that familiar with e6, frankly. Knight bd7 or bishop e6 or b5 and so on. I'm more familiar with, but e6 does strike me of something very natural. Dehistos always gets scared against me, which is really the only way I can win a game. Need people to be scared, but if I keep playing like I've played the last two sessions, I have a feeling the level of scaredness is going to go down. Scaredness is probably not a word. Fear? I think fear might be the term they use more frequently to refer to scaredness, but I prefer scaredness. Yeah, this game nothing much has been going on. I'm slightly better because the black bishop on c8 is very passive, as it often happens in these Catalan type positions. But what to do? Yeah, I like it that I strike fears into you guys' hearts, but I'm afraid I'm gonna lose that edge. So Peripherus is also saying he's afraid of blundering, so he uses too much time, which is my favorite thing. I'm not afraid of blundering, which means I've been blundering a lot, which, yeah, also can't be the solution. It's a tough game, this chess, I think. Practice is probably a big thing as well. Random sentence. So yeah, Parrot 2015 is playing solidly, but he's a bit passive after e4. I guess he should take on c3 and then on bc. I'm hoping to make something happen with bishop f4, but for the moment his position is pretty solid. He can go bishop d6 and nothing too bad has happened yet at all. CD I'm not a big fan of because I'm going to win some time with rook ac1. It's opening the c file. But I benefit much more from that than he does. And yeah, queen a5. Opponent disconnected. Let's hope he comes back, because I like my position, so I can pretend to be a sportsman. And yeah, looks like Parrot 2015 is back indeed. Let's see what he does. His position is unpleasant. Bishop d7, good move under the circumstances. Gotta get some pieces out, but I've spotted a pawn, and if I spot a pawn, I shall go after it. He can't go e5 because of rook takes d7, ef rook e7, and yeah, if the knight moves, I will probably just take on b7. They're discussing evil strategies, how to beat me. Rule number 1, no endgame. You're gonna lose on time or lose to my Grandmaster League technique. I don't know. I don't think endings are my forte. But yeah, chances of blundering are a little lower there. While here I can always miss a move like knight c5 easily and you might win the game. I really gotta stop blundering. I gotta focus a little bit. So sad. Yeah, good job, Parrot, for spotting that. I used to be good at tactics, believe it or not. Nah, I'm not that desperate to tell you guys that I used to be good at chess. Still good at chess, but I haven't been playing well the last couple of sessions. And it does bother me. I understand that it's Banter Blitz and it's whatever, entertainment, giving members a chance to be the Grandmaster, but I'm always competitive when I play, so I do not like blundering or losing, and obviously missing knight c5 was a blunder born out of arrogance that I thought, yeah, I'm high rated, I'm gonna win this game anyway, let's cash in, but to think for a second would not have killed me. Queen c3, now I'm sort of back in business. He has to go queen b4 or queen a3. Goes queen a3. And how do I do this? Could go d5, trying to build past pawn there. Yeah, I can't think of anything better. Don't like my position due to the fact that I blundered an exchange. I am worse. And yeah, people are asking if I had queen b5, rook b5 instead of queen b5. Maybe I did. I'm a little punch drunk. So very possible. And Parrot keeps playing well. I think I'm just lost, frankly. Let's not lose. I don't like to lose. Yeah, now I managed to turn things around a bit, and I believe I'm doing all right. Not like great, but all right. With 2 pawns for the exchange and f2 more or less covered. I should be doing fine. But yeah, had a little scare there and still have it. There's my arrogance again. Now that I sort of survived already, I'm already summing up the game, which is ridiculous. I should just focus. Sorry for all the inner monologue. I'm overdoing it a little bit. a7, now my plan is to somehow queen the pawn. Bishop b5, bishop c6. And I think Perry might have missed that f2 is covered, so he can't take there. And that's gonna give him some problems. Bishop a5. Let's just keep this bishop alive. I do like this bishop. Bishop d2. Yeah, now I guess it's winning, but good game by Parrot 2015, who did trick me with this nasty knight c5 trap. And he had a winning position at some point. Let's briefly recap my misery, which, yeah, it's not a move that is beyond my powers. Rook b7, knight c5. And also here, as someone rightly pointed out, I still had rook b5 when, yeah, black is fine after knight d3, rook a5, let's say knight f4, gf, rook d4, but I could still probably more or less equalize. Anyway, the drama continues, and what time is it? Ah, yeah, let's play 2 more games and then call it a game. Let's play against Mr. Alex Calderon Alzate from Spain. So many Spaniards around. Don't you guys sleep? That was my deep plan, to give the US premium members a chance to play a game, but instead all the Spaniards are still up, which I'm glad to see as well. And against Alex Calderon, I will dare to enter the Open Sicilian. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, especially for the Spanish guys, of course. Hoping to see you tomorrow for the live coverage in Spanish of the Svidler Kayakin World Cup final, where they might play Najdorf. I'm not quite sure what openings we're gonna see. Probably a lot of, I really don't know. Both are normally e4 players, Svidler and Kayakin, but they've played a lot of knight f3 throughout the tournament and throughout their career, so it's very hard to predict the opening between these two. Here we get one of the sharpest lines of the Najdorf. e6, g4, e5 is a move there, knight f5, g6, g5. And all hell breaks loose. But yeah, this line, obviously, since I'm not really an e4 player, I'm just pretending. I'm not very familiar with it, but it is my understanding that if you're allowed to get in this g5 unchallenged, that white is supposed to be in good shape. And since I feel like going for cheapos, I shall go queen h5, threatening knight takes e6, and if he spots it, I will justify it. There was some deep strategic idea that I was trying to provoke g6, so later I could have whatever, a target. Knight c5 also stops my devious plan. Wondering if I should allow him to go b4 or if I should do something about it. I think bishop g2 can't hurt too much. And if b4, I'll go somewhere. No, this looks very anti-positional, but also very tempting. The problem is he could go g6 then. If the knight were to move, there would be knight takes e6, but g6, I don't really see a way forward. But can I help myself? I don't think I can stop myself from playing this move anyway. g6 is correct, and queen somewhere, e2 or g4, I haven't decided yet. The knight retreats, and b4 normally is a pretty terrible move in the Sicilians, but it does gain some time here, so I'm not sure how bad it is. Probably it's still bad. Just trying to talk myself into it. Let's go here. And pretend once again that it was all part of the deep plan to grab space on the queen side and play all over the board. Knight a4 is a surprise. I thought he should just go back to d7. No, for starters I might have some tactical tricks with knight takes b5. And secondly, it's not a good move positionally because I can just take it with a pleasant position. Yeah, since knight takes b5 is way too complicated for me at this hour, I shall take and castle and see what happens. Guess I want to get in f5 one day or another. Does it work already? f5? Looks like. At least it keeps spicing things up a little bit. Curious about e5 when I'm contemplating f6. Pawn is bishop g5, I have fe6, and if ef, bishop g2, I have at the very least queen g2 covering the g5 square, and the position opens in my favor. Yeah, Shako points out knight takes b5 didn't work because of queen d7. I did spot that as well. That's why I went for knight takes a4 instead. Here, this was my plan. Good or not, we shall find out, but what was the plan? Things aren't that clear after bishop f8 actually, because my knight doesn't have any retreat from where it doesn't lose the e4 pawn. I still have, well, what I'm trying to say is it's bishop f8 and I play the natural knight f3 and black could probably take on e4. Looks like huge compensation, especially with the bishop on f8, but it would still not be over. Other moves, yeah, ed4, fe7 is possible as well, I'm not quite sure. And after ed4, I should also consider sacrificing a piece with bishop takes d4. Because bishop f8, first of all, I have e5, which looks dangerous for him. And secondly, well, the bishop isn't very happy on f8. So he went bishop f8. Tempting to go knight e6, but I don't see a follow-up after fe, f7, king e7. And my own pawn on g5 is blocking my progress. It's also tempting to just do nothing and allow ed knight d4, ed bishop d4 and play for compensation. But all of this might be a little too much, and probably the sane move is just to go here, give up this pawn, and now exploit the fact that he's not very developed. I want to go for brilliancy prices again. The problem is it never really works for me, but I can't help myself. Oh, that's probably also the only way I could realistically lose the game, so I better double check. Knight e5, bishop takes g2, knight c6, bishop c6, bishop b6, knight e5, unclear. Yeah, no real reason to do it. Still tempting. Nah, I'll keep it boring, play knight d2 when I think I have a good position, lots of compensation for the pawn, because his bishop is sort of out of it for now, but things aren't clear. I want to do something like, if I manage queen d5 followed by knight e4, I'll throw in c4 for good luck, and so the pawn isn't attacked on c2. Yeah, I think I'm better, but not that sure. h6 is a good move, trying to free himself. Oh, hang on. Shouldn't pre-move bishop g5, knight e4 might actually be a better move. Queen c7. I think I'll just go here to introduce some c5 options, and also so I never have to worry about knight b6 and knight takes c4. Queen c6. Strangely, I have a feeling I can't even go along with the exchange of queens, because after queen d5 cd, his king would be very open and his developing problems still wouldn't be solved. Not sure this was the right call, as usual, but it was a call. Let's continue to spice things up a little bit. I'm hoping for a b, c b, queen d5, rook c8 mate, which might not happen, but I'm also hoping for other mates, so that's not my only hope. For example, here a b, rook c8 mate, that's more or less the extent of my planning, but I had also spotted that this pawn is very, very hard to deal with all of a sudden. And by very, very hard, I do mean impossible. Just keeps creeping forward. Good game by Alex Calderon. I thought the very complicated Najdorf. I frankly have no idea what was going on. I had the feeling, well, I probably missed something outside of the opening. I had the feeling here I had good compensation, but I'm not sure if I'm much better or just have enough compensation. Would require more detailed analysis, who knows. Anyway, good game, and last game for today. Let's see who we got, or let's pick randomly first name that shows up on my list here. Another Spaniard. It's really Spanish party here. PHC123. I shall develop the knight and I shall win this game. It's been another disappointing session for me, struggling to find my blitz mojo back. But such is life. Without the lows, you don't appreciate the highs. He's probably trying to remember how shako crushed me. Little disclaimer though, or warning, the opening didn't go all that well for shako. I just went nuts after that. And let's see what PHC123 comes up with. Good old-fashioned Queen's Gambit so far. Huge choice here. I believe my new series is gonna feature the move dc4 here. I'm very fond of that move. I'm also fond of bishop b4 and c6. And there's just too many choices out there. Too many lines. Not enough time. Should be 7, knight bd7. You can do anything. Full Moon Coyote is educating us on life is full of misery, loneliness, and suffering. Tell me about it. And blunders too. Knight bd7, yeah, this is arguably the main line of this bishop f4 stuff at the moment. c5, now knight e4 or knight h5. A lot of theoretical battles going on here, left and right. c6, of course, also possible. Here, yeah, there's a lot of subtleties, whether you go bishop d3 or h3. I think I was the one who introduced h3 in the very old days. e5 I do not understand at all. Now I think PHC just confused something. If I have to go d, e, knight d7, then this makes sense, but here it's just a pawn. Pawn is a pawn, as Lenny Kravitz used to say. Yeah, this is just no good for black. Still, of course, the game continues. I will play as solidly as I possibly can. Could have gone for more aggressive moves like g4 or whatever. I'm really not in the mood. I will allow this though. This does look incorrect enough to not be afraid of it. b6. Yeah, I'll continue to keep it boring. The That's my motto in my personal life as well. Yeah, just when I was wondering if I managed to blunder again with bishop c5, PHC helps me with a blunder of his own. Rook b8, and this position should be possible to convert even in my current stage. Never know though. Shako said, might have been Lawrence Kravitz. I'm not sure. They do look very much alike, so I get them confused. Rook e8. Let's enter the heart of darkness with the rook. So yeah, it's the middle of the night, so this is the last game for today. Thanks everybody for watching, playing, and all that good stuff. Become a premium member if you haven't already, if you want to crush me as well, like pretty much everyone has been doing today, except PHC, because this game I will win somehow. Yeah, what else can I tell you? Spread the word, tell a friend, like on Facebook, share, blah blah blah, don't blunder your bishops, all that good stuff. It's been fun as usual, even though I will have to do a lot of soul searching where my Blitz mojo has gone. It's disappeared. Thanks PHC123 for going easy on me on this last game. He understood that I needed a bit of a lift of spirits after all this suffering. Yeah, see you guys, if you're Spanish speaker, see you guys tomorrow in the World Cup final between Peter Svidler and Sergei Karyakin. If you're an English speaker, you're still welcome, but you can also watch the English transmission from on-site, of course. That's it for today. I'm not gonna play any more Banter Blitz sessions on this day at the very least, and see you guys soon. I think there's, oh yeah, I should point out there is a Spanish Banter Blitz with our dear friend Pepe Cuenca, which is always great entertainment, today at 6 p.m. See ya. That wasn't the right picture.